All right. Welcome to the How to Be an Army of One in Sales podcast. It's me, Joe Marcoux, your host, the sales sensei of the SOS Dojo. I've got a brand new member of the SOS Dojo into the From Click to Close program. Chris and I were talking recently. And what's great is Chris is based out of Vancouver. He's a realtor. I'm going to let Chris share a little bit of his story in terms of how he got here. And we're going to banter a little bit. And I've got some questions that I want to ask Chris in terms of some of the challenges and some of the fun stuff that he's doing in his business. So Chris, welcome to the podcast, man. Welcome to How to Be an Army of One in Sales, which you are you not?
Yes, I am the Army of One. I have the scars to prove it too. So we'll just say that this is a long journey to get here. I was probably, we'll say 2015, 2016. I'm like everyone else. You sign up for it. You get this massive book in the mail and you're like, I just have so much on my plate right now that I don't know if I could do this. So then, your year goes up and you don't make the cut. So you're like, hey, the second time is the charm. So then I'm here for the second time. So then, so same kind of thing. I kind of blew it off. And then I had actually a guy that I signed up with that helps you get through the exam, because contrary to most things, you don't need to know all the law, the examples that they give you inside that book. A lot of it is just, I feel it's to, discourage you and make you feel really overwhelmed, or at least it did for me.
Yeah.
So then I tapped in just during the pandemic. Everything was over Zoom. And then I got my license in 2021, just into 2021.
All right.
And so here I am. So I'm 4+ years in. Long time coming. First, you asked how I got here. So I got to you because I stumbled along the way through a lot of different either training programs, coaching, everything works and nothing doesn't. There's just different ways of doing things, and certain things just vibe with you different. And I feel like the game has changed so much from where we used to be the gatekeepers of the information, and now the public knows just as much or more than us. So
as realtors, right? Because they can go to the MLS or they can go online and they know more about the property than you do.
Yes. And now we've just released, which is really good, full transparency. We've released sold data so the public can see what homes are being sold for. I mean, that's kind of how, we'll just say, how archaic things have been, very behind the kimono, in the sense where I think it's great. I think transparency is good for the industry because, all cards on the table. We're there to help. And I think we should be based on what we offer, in terms of service and professionalism and everything that, makes us us.
I'll ask you this question. What's changed the most in the last 4 years for you? Is it Zoom? Is it not Zoom? Start with that.
So I was just getting in. So, I would love to say that, I got in the gravy train. Everyone I knew was just calling me and looking. No, it was slim pickings. It was, you're walking in, my first brokerage actually had an office. So you walk in there and everything's all kind of masked up and different. And you really understand that you are on your own. So then you feel a little even more overwhelmed.
Does it matter what brand you're with? You're on your own, right? As a realtor, when you first get into this game, you're it.
Yeah. I don't think the brand actually matters. Okay.
Yeah.
There is a culture to different brands for sure. And I've been through a few, and I feel like where I'm at right now is good. I like the culture. I like the people. And no knocks against my previous. My previous was good as well. And I think you are on your own. And even with going to a brick and mortar brokerage, you might hit it off with someone that's experienced, that's looking to share and really build agents up. And if that happens, why would it not be a great fit? Because it's a win-win situation. It's amongst the people that you're on the path with, right? As opposed to, I'm in this company and everyone's on my team. Well, not necessarily, but you can build good relationships with senior agents that are looking to pour into you, show you what they've done, and show you, most importantly, what not to do.
Okay. Is there a level of mentorship that you've been able to encounter with some of these senior agents, like people that have been in the game for 20+ years?
I've had some brief encounters for sure. Nothing that's really stuck. I have, there's a couple people for sure.
Okay.
A guy from my old brokerage. like he wrote a book, right? How to become a beast. And you know what, Johnny's a beast. I'll tell you that. John's a great guy, pours into everybody.
Nice.
And
if you look back now, based on the experience that you have, I mean, again, Johnny's one guy that for you in particular, you look back at your younger self of 4 years ago, knowing what you know now, and just knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self to do, knowing what you know now?
Contrary to most people, don't do everything. Maybe try everything for a minute, see what you really like, and then just niche down. And
Okay.
I was exposed to this, but never really took to this until now. And now I feel like even like my marketing and my focus and my mindset is just on this niche of people. And that would be move up buyers, like people that are in either one or two bedrooms, looking to get more space. They're looking to, leave a place and then get to a new place.
Yeah.
And I actually got that from this program that I signed up for, and I really haven't been partaking in. Good program, don't get me wrong, lots of support when I do check in. And that was the first thing she said. She says, if you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to nobody.
Right.
Have you read that book, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant?
I have not. The Almanac of Naval. He
is very big on and having specialized knowledge. So, otherwise you're just easily replaced. Like I feel, when you look at people's profiles and they're saying like buy, sell, invest, I mean, there's no separation there.
Right.
You can be easily replaced. So having special knowledge, being like a Strata expert or East Vancouver expert, someone that understands these submarkets or types of products, I think is ever more valuable moving forward, since there's so many of us to choose from. I think, and pretty much I know from experience of working with other realtors myself, that when I was working with someone that knew their stuff, I, A, never had to ask what was coming next, and B, I never had to do my own homework necessarily, because I was given the information when I needed it, and I was explained the information that I could understand it.
You looking at it from your lens, you're in real estate, you're in Vancouver.
Yeah.
If I said to you, who's the expert in Kitsilano, you would know, right? Are there names that come up that you go, these are these people?
Yeah,
right.
There's a couple in there that I would say they don't run the show, but they're, I'll see their names on a ton of listings, and they get those listings for a reason.
And the likelihood is those same people that you're talking about in Kitsilano, they're not likely to be in Langley at the same time, are they? Probably not.
Not necessarily. Maybe
because they've been able to niche down.
Yes. And the thing is, when it comes to niching down, even though you might work with first-time home buyers or, people that are upsizing, downsizing, if someone has an amazing experience with you,
they'll come back.
And why would they not refer their friends?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's an interesting one where, you have this, you want to build this reputation, you want to build this brand within the brand.
You're the brand, man.
Yeah. And I think it's just undersold in how much goes into that, in the sense of it's your daily actions that become that.
Yeah.
So, if you have bad communication, well, that's just part of your brand. And that's,
and this is part of the thing that you and I are doing right now. And it's come to mind. And I said this to people on a group call earlier. What this is doing for you, but for both of us, is it's exposing people to see and hear and get to know these two guys. You as the realtor, me as this business owner of the SOS Dojo, and just who is Joe? Who is Chris? And they're getting to know you a little bit. So because people buy off of they do business with people they know, like, and trust. So let's shift gears a little bit, because there's a formula to this, right? Like there's this thing that's called the 7-11-4 rule. And people got to pick up on, on us for approximately 7 hours worth of content. That's a lot of content. So who's Chris when he's not a realtor?
Okay.
When you're not a realtor, tell me something that you haven't told people publicly before, maybe, or what's your hobbies?
Okay. So obviously I gym pretty much, I don't know, 6-7 days a week. Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I find it as therapy. I probably, I'll tell you this. I didn't do much when I like, out of adolescence, high school, played a little bit of rugby. That was about it. And then
Okay.
I did absolutely nothing. And I hit it well. I hit it well. Like, yeah, no, nothing impressive. And then it was my doctor at the time. And I told her my knees hurt when I started running, and she was just like, "Oh, you shouldn't be running this and that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, we'll figure that out." So then I literally started running, and I didn't stop for like 5 years. So, there you go. And then I literally I just got into weights, and then I just left all that stuff behind.
Good for
Um,
you.
I kind of had to leave that behind because I actually, from running, I started getting on the treadmill. I started getting drop foot. And that started really freaking me out. I'll tell you that, because it would lead to drop foot, and then my face would get numb, and then my arm would go numb.
So
And
give me when you say drop foot, explain to me what that is.
so you're running on the treadmill, and you're gonna like heel strike or put your foot down,
Yeah.
and there's nothing there. There's nothing
You
there.
don't feel it?
No, no, no. It's like it's numb. It's like it's nothing. You have no control. So I can put my foot down, but my ankle, my foot there's nothing. And
so you have total instability, like you're about to crash?
oh yeah. I hold myself up and I gotta hop off. And it's scary because previous to that, my mom passed away, but she died of a stroke. So then I'm thinking, the left side of my body's going numb.
Right. Oh my God, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I mean, that was a whole thing. Cause I was actually there. She was on the phone, and then she was having her stroke and seizure in front of me. And then I had to run to the fire station down the street. God bless those guys. And they ran back with me, to see her, so that, they could do what they had to do. I mean, I completely blacked out after that point. I don't remember much. But
how old were you at the time?
Like 21.
Jeez,
like
man, you were young, man.
Yeah. Yeah, she passed at 54. And my dad is 77, and they're the same age. So she's been gone for a while.
Wow. Still though, right? What does that tell you? I mean, it's 20 plus years later. And I mean, this is it's called a defining moment. It doesn't define who you are. It's just one of those moments that will forever be like, you'll never forget that moment because of the experience. And that can happen both from trauma, and it can also happen from when you have a phenomenal experience.
Mm-hmm.
And, like go back to the first, because we're in sales, and making a sale is the opiate of choice for the salesperson. So do you remember where you were and what it felt like on the first house you ever sold?
Yeah, I do.
What was that like? Tell me about the deal and tell me where you were.
Okay. So my first deal was with my mother-in-law, and now my ex-mother-in-law, which,
gotcha.
Still very nice. You know what? Great lady. She gave me the opportunity to list her property. And that was a bit of a struggle. And that was during COVID, when people were buying everything. But there was a few things that just didn't tick off about her property. One of them being that the street lined up with the front door, so bad feng shui. So in her area, that pretty much disqualified a lot of Asian buyers. They were just like, nope.
Because the street was coming this way right to the front door, and all that energy's coming at her, right? That's the theory of feng shui. I get it. Yep.
Yeah. So then everything came together. We found a dance partner, and it worked out. And then they wanted to back out of the deal because their realtor never told them that it was classified as heritage. So meaning you could knock it down, but you had to stay in line with the character of the neighborhood. It was the lowest level of protection. So you could just had to have like a West Coast style house with, peaks and, just that type of home.
Yeah.
They said they weren't informed. Then, well, we had to go and hire a litigator.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So first deal, right to litigation, and then finally sold it back to them because the deal fell through. It collapsed. We went back on market. We had another person that was going to negotiate with them. So we ended up selling it back to them, and they actually spent a little more money on the second turn.
All right.
So
there you go.
Yeah, it was interesting. It's interesting, right? I think they just I think they just got some bad advice to think that they could just pull out, and then they were gonna come in with, XYZ Law Group, which turned into XYZ Law Group at gmail.com.
Right.
So we'll just say that was a stressful moment. But you know what? If you get past that in your first deal, man, you can handle anything.
Good for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What's the dream for you now? You're in this for 4+ years. Where do you see yourself as far as, and again, some people, it's like, hey, I want to have a comfortable life. I want to sell so many homes a year, or some people want to have a team. You're in a position right now where you get to pick. So where does Chris Carr want to see himself in 5 years?
Definitely, I want to see myself still like, I don't see myself being like, say, completely out of production or not in that type of role, but definitely on a team, like in the sense of leading the team. I'd love to do that. Because I would love to just demystify some of the we'll just say it, some of the bullshit that's sold.
Go for it, man. Yeah.
Because it's, I feel like there's so many ways to do it. And there just needs to be more support for agents that don't want to say do it the traditional way, that want to do it, say, like more towards what I'm doing now, or I'm heading into doing and committing to doing. And that's with our, mutual friend there, Nolan.
Yeah.
So, I'm on my 4th YouTube video. I just put it up yesterday.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. And you know what? I know the first 20, they're probably going to just suck. And that's okay.
Yeah, that's totally okay. The thing is that you're embracing the suck. Like, think about anything, any aspect of your life, whether it's cooking, dancing, sales, doing YouTube videos, skating, playing golf. When you first get into any of these endeavors, you're going to suck. Like, you're just going to suck.
Yeah. For sure.
So the cool thing about what you're doing with the group that you're with in the dojo, or with who you're with Nolan, is that you're surrounded by other people and they're all going through the same thing. So it's not uncommon. If it doesn't feel like you're an alien in this group. It's okay. Other people are screwing this up too. Okay. So it doesn't feel so bad. If you're doing it alone,
yes,
you mentioned it earlier, like mentorship. And whoever Johnny was, and he had written a book, and he's the beast. Like, there's value in that because you time collapse. Is that something you said you want to lead a team? Is that something that you also want to be able to do for people?
Yeah, completely. Like the one thing that I feel is really lacking, like in real estate, is like, it is like, okay, you're in a sales job, but you don't understand that you're a sales job. There's a marketing wing. And then behind all of that, there's these foundations and systems, which I am still discovering how to build out. But it's these systems and processes that just make everything more manageable. Because otherwise, if you look at other agents that are in this business and you take people that are in there 20 years and you'll ask them, like, what's your systems and processes? And they're like, they're literally using pads of paper like that. You can't scale that,
No.
And I think the word scaling is kind of overused. It's like, but the one thing that isn't, it's not talked about is just like, you need to have these things because it's not just to scale other people and scale up your business, but it frees up more time.
But that's just it.
You have back, because like you're married. I mean, I have a partner, but we're not married. But
sure,
if I'm just winging it all the time, then I have less time with her. I have less time with my dad. I have less time with people because I don't have all these systems in the back. You don't need a lot. It doesn't have to be complicated, but you need a workflow. They don't teach you that kind of stuff.
Right.
And
An
you're
Excel spreadsheet is a system.
yeah.
I mean, if that's all you've got, a sheet of paper can be a system. It comes down to, like, if you're an army of one in your endeavor, or if you're an army of one, I was speaking to this large company right before getting on this call, and I asked them, I said, how many clients, they deal in big corporate deals. So I said, how many deals could you realistically handle over the course of the next year? The answer was 20. It's like, and this is a multi-million dollar company dealing in multi-million dollar deals. So they can only do 20. So how much scalability do they actually need when it's just 20? Right?
They just need to get the simple things right.
You got to get, you wouldn't know, Chris, how what you've just said is exactly what we were coaching them on. Now, again, the simple things right. What most people do is, it just because you've learned something doesn't mean that you know it. 70% of the stuff that people learn, they forget, like within 24 hours. So you could read all these books in a day. 70% of them you're not even going to remember. So you've got to, this is the purpose of the dojo, right? We put in the reps, you come in, and we reinforce what you've learned so that you know it, as opposed to, I learned that. Yeah, okay, well, do you know it? Because it's a big difference.
Joe, you know what? You can use this because I do it. People trade knowledge for wisdom.
Yes.
I know this. Sure, you just read it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. But if you can teach it, then you'll know it. So
right. Knowledge. No, I heard this. It's a great quote. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing that a tomato doesn't go in a fruit salad.
Totally. But it's just, it's
right.
It's simple things like that.
It's like, you wouldn't see strawberries, blueberries, and tomato. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it might for some people, but I can tell you, it ain't going to be a bestseller on the restaurant menu. So, talk to, and feel free to ask me questions as well. I mean, for you, go ahead.
I'll end the open loop. So I would like to do that for like build out a team. I would like to do that because I think it's possible. That's the thing. I come in with extreme optimism amongst just everything that goes on, and that's why like programs like yours, it's an investment. It's an investment in myself. It's an investment in you. I know you're investing in me likewise. 100%.
Right? I want you to be successful. Yeah, I want you to get that 1,000 like it's 1,000x. And that's what you get when you invest in yourself. Like, it can't do that in the stock market. You'll never get the return on money for money.
No.
That you will on investing in this, in skills, and in your heart set.
For sure. Because there's something that, like, people have a word that's in their head for the year. It's like, this is my word of the year. And mine is intention. And that is just to be intentional. And one of those parts of that tree of intention is to up my communication game, not just for sales. I mean, like with my partner, with the people around me, because I feel like if you can communicate, the world is your oyster. And in sales, which will tie kind of into probably what I'll ask you about, is we are just taught to just always be closing because we saw the boiler room, and it's right. Like people
Glenn Ross.
Yeah. It's fascinating to think that is still even a thing, because
it is. That's what gives it a bad rap.
Yes, because society's EQ level or bullshit meter has risen so far, and our access to information is just so massive that we can smell it coming,
big time.
And it's like, we're not trying to fool people. Like, you're not trying to fool me. You're just saying, like, if you can get inside my head and see if you can actually help me be more of the consultant, well, then everyone leaves feeling good.
So it's interesting you mentioned this, because I was trying to find this photo, and I've got it now, and I'm going to show it typical sales funnel that we've known was this, get your leads in, and then over time, give them stuff to eventually get them to buy. And it no longer, I just learned about this because I also watched The Diary of a CEO, and Daniel Priestley was on, and he's a guy who I shared the stage with. So it was cool to be able to see him. And if you look at this, what happens now is, and this is, again, it's part of this 7-11-4 formula, where you need to be exposing yourself to people on various platforms, and something triggers them to then start to explore and evaluate you. And then eventually, so this is literally, it's not a funnel anymore. This is, people need to get exposed to you, the Chris Carr brand, to eventually consume some piece of content or meet you or have something that you do or say that triggers them to start to explore you, the brand within the brand, which they will then evaluate over time. And based on the experience, choose to make a purchase. So there is no definitive straight line anymore. It's not a vectoral line anymore. It's an adventure, because you and I both know, if I said to someone, get my free thing, just give me your email, I know that you're putting me in a funnel. But I can also go, yep, and I'm going to unsubscribe immediately because now I'm out of your funnel. And we all know it.
And what do you do when you say you meet someone, not even like your neighbor, whoever, right? You meet someone, especially like someone on a podcast. So you have this sort of pseudo relationship, or one of their guests. First thing you do, you Google.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like you're saying, like this, it's this omnipresence, of everything. You need to be just around. You need to be in their wheelhouse of thought.
This is why. So yes, it's important to post and you become the content. And then there's also a level of privacy. Like there's some people that will post stuff and they'll post stuff without any ramifications of how this is going to, not serve them later. And then popularity wise, and you're learning this with Nolan, the importance of the thumbnail or the hook to get people to click, to then watch for the first 30 seconds. Because if it sucks goat balls, nobody's going to keep watching. It's forget it, I'm out. And so what do you do? And so I believe that to be able to see people for who they really are is very challenging. And then there's some very popular YouTubers where who they are is just a persona. It's just who they are in front of that camera. I'll give you an example. Richard Simmons. Remember him?
Yeah.
Frizzy hair, sweating to the oldies, dealing with, obese men and women, mostly women. And he, yay, Richard. Richard behind the scenes had a voice lower than mine.
Oh.
The guy was a genius. He was on before social media was social media. So who he was in front of the camera was not who he was it backstage. the dude was just a killer. And that's so, and I'm not suggesting that you can't have a persona. I'm known as the sales sensei. I'm also a father. I'm also a husband. I'm also a dog owner. You know what I mean? I'm also the fitness enthusiast, and it's still me.
Yeah. And I saw the photos, by the way. Nice.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. Well,
you look great.
I'm doing my best, and I'm weighing my food, and I'm staying accountable, and I'm measuring my sleep, measuring my steps, because it's optimization of energy is what's going to help optimize my ability to sell and ability to teach.
That's why I was off camera, because you know what? I just, full admission, I was meal prepping.
Okay.
Yeah. So within like an hour and a half, I can prep 16 meals.
See, that's I'm with you. Like, so that we get busy.
Yeah.
So one of my coaches, in fact, I got his latest book. Him and Daniel Woodrum wrote The Dark Side of Discipline. So here's shout out to my buddy Craig and my buddy Daniel. And Craig will say, and it's interesting, you can spend roughly $3,500 a month to live like a billionaire. And so think of it, in Canada or the US, for roughly the same amount of money, you can have somebody drive you around, Uber, to get you can get all of your meals delivered. And again, you're not ordering from a restaurant. You can get like the pre-cooked, whatever. Like there's how many different companies now that what are there any companies near you that you deal with, like Freshco?
Yeah, so there are companies out there that do make meals, right? So they'll even have the extra protein version,
right?
But I'm one of those like no dairy, no eggs kids. So there's certain things that they just don't cater to.
So for meal prep for you, it just makes it easier for you to do it on your own, and you just do it en masse, and then you block it up. Worth it. I'm agreeing with you. It's like totally worth it because I do my own meal prep as well. So what are some of the tools that you like to use for meal prep?
Like, what do you mean tools?
I sous vide almost everything. So I'll put a flat of chicken and I'll cook 3 to 4 per bag in a large bucket in the sous vide. Chicken's never been better. And I'll have various different versions per bag, and then I'll have them ready in the fridge for the rest of the week.
Okay. So I don't go that far. I have a cast iron, which I'll cook like a pound of bison. I'll cook like the 600 grams of ground beef. I'll do chicken breast. Sometimes I'll do salmon, and then I'm real simple. It'll just be like broccoli and sweet potato. And that is just tail off Costco shrimp.
Love it.
Yeah. So I just kind of go for that. Yeah.
So for you, what being as again, you're the army of one. You're out doing real estate. How important is it for you to have good health so that you can have good energy?
Huge. And you know what, to double on your energy, like topic there's a guy that I follow, Dan Martell.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And he made it so clear that it just clicked that you manage your energy, not your time.
Right.
And I was like, fuck. Well,
Dan Martell is on fire. That guy, and again, it's not like he's come out of nowhere.
No.
And he's a fellow Canadian, by the way. Yes. So, he's big fan of fitness, big fan of accountability. And what is his latest book? Is it Buy Back Your Time?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
It's great. I belong to his monthly mindset. Like he does videos. Like, I mean, you have these pseudo relationships with people, right? It's like it's like that. And he does this founders walk every Tuesday in Kelowna where he invites everybody. And I have my parents were both only children. So I have this kind of fake cousin that we have.
Okay.
Lives in Kelowna. So I'm like, I need to speak to him. But when I'm there, I'm going to make sure I'm on a Tuesday.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. It's the power of the power of relationships. And what we're doing just by recording this conversation, and just what he does by being able to post content that's, again, valuable, purposeful, and shareable. So if the content is valuable, purposeful, and shareable, then other people are going like, this is great. I'm learning some stuff. This makes all the sense in the world. So here you are, you're in sales. You're taking the time to be able to cook your meals so that you've got your proverbial energy together. And then you go and surround yourself with other people that are doing the same thing. Like a Dan Martell, you go for this walk on a Tuesday in Kelowna. Are you going to tell me you're not going to network with other high performing people that are just going to want to lift you up?
Yeah. And
effing no brainer.
Yeah. And it's good to be like that small fish. Like I'll look at the people in this monthly club and they're just like, oh, I'm doing this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh man, I am so behind. But it's refreshing because at least you're forcing yourself to like level up to people around you.
Yeah.
That are all looking to further themselves too. So it kind of goes back to like, I'm not 27. You know what I mean? I'm 47. So it's like I started into real estate later. So my friends and family, like they all bought houses. So this is like a fresh thing for me.
Yeah.
Right. I can't just dip into that. Everyone I know that's 30 is getting married while buying homes. Like, let's go. It's a different ballgame, which I welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't want anything handed to me anyway, because I had that when I was younger. I had a car, I had these things, but you know what? You don't care for it like when you earn it.
Right.
So,
those that pay attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
those that pay attention for sure.
Yeah. My question for you though is I'm just fascinated being on the other side is when did you know that you needed sales training? Who was your first sales trainer?
Yep.
And when did you know that you were going to go on your own and not feel like, oh, I'm just taking his stuff and I'm going to recycle it and just be the next, like that happens in real estate?
Sure. Yeah. And the fourth question is, and I'll answer, did I ever suffer from imposter syndrome? Yes. Right. And I think everybody does. The truth of the matter is we're all standing on the shoulders of giants. Every one of us, regardless of where we come from, have learned from other people. And what we're doing is we're repackaging and repurposing what we've learned and putting our own authentic spin to it, which is how people learn. It's no different than how stories were told prior to print. It was told, and then you told the story, and you couldn't have told the story exactly the way I told it. You told it your way, and your way may have been better. Yeah. That's the thing. So I was in my late teens and I was managing an exercise equipment retail store in Winnipeg, and I was passionate about it. And I was definitely an expert in terms of the equipment that I was selling. And I was already an expert in fitness. I sucked at my communication. So you could be a level 10 expert and you could be a level 2 communicator. And even if you're a level 10 expert, you're going to make level 2 money, which was what was happening for me. So I got better reading and, at the time, cassette tapes. Now I'm dating myself. And then I got the opportunity to go and meet and do a workshop with Jim Rohn, who was Tony Robbins' mentor. Changed my life. Absolutely changed my life. The guy was insane. And and I've been a fan of his, even post his passing. And it was great. I had the opportunity to meet with him and have a conversation with him, and it impactful. So that led me down this journey, this rabbit hole of ongoing, never-ending, continual improvement and constantly learning, wanting to grow. And I still am. I'm part of mastermind groups. I'm a big fan of reading. I've learned from one of my mentors taught me the trick of start a book, get the Audible version, put it on Audible at 2x speed, and read the book at the same time. So you're like, the modality is fantastic. You get to retain more, you learn more, take notes. So that journey started at the age of 19 when I first met Jim Rohn. But at the age of 20, I opened up my first exercise equipment retail store. Age of 25, I merged with a national brand. We weren't national yet. We went national. Company now is going through, it's gone through a lot of changes. Fitness Depot was the name of the company. And so we were store number 7. There quickly became 38 a year and a half later. And I got out because upper management and specifically the leadership and I just didn't align. And it's interesting. A lot of the competitors to the Fitness Depot, it was because they were people that didn't align with the ownership. Long and short of it, I kept on going on my journey. And it was in 2007 where I wrote my first book. It's not that it was a great book by any stretch. I learned a lot writing that first book. Boutique Thinking in a Big Box World is the name of it. What it led to me being able to go speak at different events. Mm-hmm. I had to practice speaking. I had to practice speaking from the stage. I had then, and again, practice speaking, but like practice in terms of public speaking.
Yeah.
It was one thing to be able to have a conversation with a group of guys around a dinner table. It's a different thing to be standing up on stage, lights on, and it's all about you for 90 minutes to 4 hours. And then you got to deliver and then pitch. Mm-hmm. So I made a pitch at the end of my first 90 minutes, sold for 30 grand from the stage. And I'm like, and it was the euphoria of making that much money in a short period of time, mixed in with the fact that what I had to say, people wanted. Mm-hmm. So even though I learned from so many other people, I can honestly tell you 5% of what I know, I would dare say I believe is original, and it's still coming from above. Like it's coming, like I'm getting a download. And then 95% is life experience and learning from truly masters. And I've worked with lots. It would not be foolish for me to say close to $2 million in education, self-education over the last, like 35 years. No problem.
So I'll touch on that because I'm not opposed to paying for coaches and mentors at all. I think in a lot of respect, I would pay coaches and mentors that have actually, I stole this from another coach, this guy, James. And he wouldn't bring people into our group that weren't practitioners, that were only pontificators. He was like, no, we don't have people like that here. Only someone who's been a practitioner. So learning from someone, and not to degrade or to demote their intelligence by any means, very smart people. Yeah. But if you take a professor and say, I don't know, take the most prestigious law school out there, if all they're doing, or not law school, sorry, business school, and all they're doing is teaching you supply and demand, but they've never actually had skin in the game.
They've never made a sales call.
Then everything is just in theory. There's no practical knowledge there, right? You can recite from the book of how it is, but until you've been knee deep in it, you don't know what the emotions are attached to that. Where, the one thing that it goes to sales calls, and I'm sure you're on the same side of it, is like sometimes that phone feels like it's like, you would rather
1,000 pounds.
Yes, you would rather be digging ditches. And then cursing while you're in digging ditches that you want to have a better job. Yeah. Because I think like it just kind of comes back to communication. And what I'm trying to say is it's like you putting 2 million in, like I'm not close to 2 million. I'm not even close to that. Okay. But the people that I see, the people that I follow, like yourself, like Dan Martell, like these people are operating at such a high level, and none of them are opposed to paying for coaching. None of them. There's not anyone out there being like, not doing it.
If a coach doesn't have a coach, I kind of go, that's a red flag for me. Like, so you mentioned, like, I'll give you an example. Like back at, so again, and I don't say this to impress you, it's to impress upon you something. Like there's some, I still have a few of my trophies when I was competing on my desk, just as a reminder that, hey, those were some of the hardest things that I've ever had to do, to diet down and like do that much cardio and to just feel hunger for literally weeks to get that shredded. So to know that, hey, listen, I can do that now, like other things are easy. It's like taking a cold shower. I take a cold shower every morning for the dopamine response, for the health reasons, and for the mental reasons of like I don't like I hate it's. I'm in Winnipeg. It's fucking cold, man. Like I fucking hate it. And I'm not bleeping out the F word. It's fucking cold here. So I get into the cold of the Winnipeg cold shower. Even in the summertime, the cold water is effing cold. Winter, it's cold, man. So I do it because I know that if I can hack that, getting on that 1,000-pound phone call is not that big of a deal. And of course, it's the first one. It's building the momentum of the first one. And I learned that, by the way, I learned this whole thing about cold showers, not because of Wim Hof, which I've done Wim Hof breathing and it's great. It was with, you have as well. Okay, cool. It was with Tom Bilyeu, formerly from Quest Nutrition, who sold it for like $1 billion. And he put, like that story of he's sitting there and him and Lisa are in the gym, and all of a sudden, like, it went from $0 in the bank account to 400 million, like literally, like refresh. So he's telling the story. This is back in 2019. I was in San Diego. I went specifically for this event. It was called the Empire Business Summit. He was the keynote speaker. And I mean, I had a chance to meet with him and stuff. And he talked about his words, I fucking take cold showers. And I'm like, I'm in. And I started taking cold showers, haven't looked back. I like it, and it's there's a spiritual aspect of it. It's like, and I don't want to, and I do it anyways. Because if you don't, then if you don't embrace the things that are hard, life will get harder. You've got to start looking for challenges.
Yeah. I think, it's been said, was it easy decisions, hard life, or easy life, hard decisions?
Oh yeah.
And
if you only chase what's easy, life gets hard. Yeah. If you only chase what's hard, life gets easy.
Yeah. I mean, the cold shower thing. Oh, Jesus, that's a tough one. I mean, and the thing is, so my girlfriend, we would go to this place like a couple times. It's called Calm, and they have
it's like a spa.
No. It's a sauna and a cold plunge. Their cold plunge goes to like 3 degrees. Holy, like I'm in there for 30 seconds. I'm halfway in. She'll do 2 minutes. And I'm like,
wow,
I feel like I'm just bitching out. Like it's sad. I go to this other one. It's 13 degrees. I can manage that.
Sure.
It still sucks. My feet hurt though.
Yeah.
My feet really hurt. So I was told, take my feet and put them out. A client of mine, she told me, she's like, take your feet, put them out and see how that works.
Yeah. I find feet and hands, like they I get it. Like I had frostbite when I was a kid, and I'm telling you, I haven't recovered.
Okay. So Winnipeg, you're in Winnipeg still.
Yep. Born and raised, still here. I've got a place at Lake of the Woods that I spend my summers. So in a month from now, when May long weekend, classic Canadian, will open it up. We bought property down the lake as well, and we're building. It's a longer process because we've got other investments, and I keep reinvesting into the company and reinvesting in myself. And I mean, I know the whoosh moment will happen, like the big downpour. And it's an interesting question. Like, how many clients do I want to have? Because I have a vivid vision that I've written. And even right now, it's like, how many clients do I want to have at a given time? Right now, the magic number is 100. Like, not counting my corporate clients. I'm talking 100 individual clients that are in the dojo. We can manage that easily based on, and yet 100 people on the global scale, it's not a lot.
No.
And I've got people in Dubai. I've got people in Europe, like all over Europe, like from Ireland to there's people in France, there's people in England, there's people that are from the Netherlands, so and then all over the US and Canada.
Yeah, like in the group, it's Connor and what's the girlfriend, the girl that's
Emily.
Emily, yes. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's great to have reach, man. I think that's impressive. And I will tell you that, like the grass is always greener on the other side and what have you. And, that's probably the one, no, it's not the challenge. Hey, it's the opportunity within real estate to be, to have that huge kind of outreach or huge availability, like say across a country or say worldwide, I mean, you can, right? Like we can bring people into the company in other areas of the world that they have a brokerage, we can bring people in. So there is opportunity there for sure. But it's exciting to see on the coaching side of things, like how many different people from different areas you can reach.
Yeah.
I'm looking at like, say, like going back to like Dan Martell, like he's coaching with Patrick Bet-David. Do you know who that is?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Yeah.
So he's
Valuetainment, man.
yeah, man. So he's with Ed Milet. Okay. Then he's with Patrick Bet-David. And I'm not saying they're worth about the same, but they're very close. Like Dan is like, I don't know what it is, like half a bill. The other guy sold his company for 400 mil. So they've got to be somewhat, right?
Yeah.
And he's asking him for help. You know what I mean? As Patrick would say, where are my blind spots?
Right.
And that just shows like, it's
who's
just
going to see who? Honestly, is Dan Martell seeing Patrick Bet-David, or is Patrick Bet-David asking Dan Martell? Because they're both that good.
Well, that's the thing. Only one is paying, I'm sure.
Who's coaching who is my question. I don't.
Well, Dan said that he's coaching with Patrick.
So he's getting coaching from Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Patrick Bet-David, it's very interesting. Like I remember him interviewing bodybuilders, and I was into it. Like he was interviewing Dorian Yates and Ronnie Coleman, and he had an affinity towards this, and that niche, that subculture, people just bid into it, and then it went from there to bigger to bigger to bigger. And he's a great interview.
Yeah.
And he's got his opinion. That's the other thing that you and I need to do more of. It's okay to have an opinion and draw the line in the sand and say to people, hey, listen, you know what? Like I am a believer that we need to be fit. Yeah. I'm not suggesting that you're an asshole if you don't have abs. That's not what I'm saying. Yes. Other people are like that. And I, as whether it's just me in terms of how I grew up or whatnot, that's not it at all. And I mean, I'm fit. So I don't believe it's our place to judge. It is our place to be able to have an opinion based on data. I'm not going to make an opinion on someone just because they're maybe not as healthy or they don't look a certain way.
Yeah, I truly believe that people are the sum of their choices. And if those are their choices, they get what they get, for sure.
Yeah.
For the most part, there's so much opportunity out there. Like I said, I'm forever an optimist, man. Like I might have my dark days, but I know that if it's possible, I know it's possible, right? And yeah, I feel that it's really tough sometimes to really like be like, oh, I'm this type of person or I'm this type of person, and then you change your mind, and everyone's like, well, hey, change your mind. You said this, and it's, that.
It was recorded on YouTube or on Instagram. It could have been recorded 6 years ago, and you're allowed to evolve.
Yes. Intelligence is evolution.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, especially like now it's like you look at like, say, our neighbors to the south, and it's coming here too. You can't even talk politics. Like you're like, no. Whoa, because we can't be friends. We can't.
Well, that's just it. It's suddenly like, people are allowed to choose. And can you respect it? Like, and this is what's interesting. Like we are, we're the time of this recording, Canada's going to have a federal election. And I'm honestly like, I'm like, and the debates, I think the French debate is today, I think, and the English debate is tomorrow. I think that's based on the time of recording. And I'm curious about this because like, I don't know. I know who are the people that are running locally, which I think is just as important as the leadership. Mm-hmm. And if somebody says, I'm not going to tell you who I'm going to vote for, I respect it. If you want to, rah and put up signs on your yard, I respect that too. Like, go ahead. That's freedom of speech. Like, we don't have guns here.
Yeah.
Like to think that people are going to shoot each other over their electoral choices.
Yeah.
That's the shit that freaks me out, man.
No, it does freak me out, in that sense. And
we don't have that challenge up here.
No, we don't have that challenge. Well, we're a lot more, I don't know. I feel like gun owners up here are a lot more responsible. And I mean, not even that, but I think gun owners
harder to get anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I used to have my license. I used to have both. I used to be registered, non-registered. And then, just circumstances change, That being said, I feel like, man, people died for that right, that you could put a sign in your yard and say that I'm going to vote for this person. And then when people don't go and vote, I'm just like,
oh yeah. Now listen, if there's one thing that the way I used to say this to my kids who are now voting, I would say, listen, if you're going to complain then you have to vote first.
Yeah.
If you voted, you have the right to complain. If you did not vote, shut it.
Yeah.
Because you didn't, like, I mean, and is the system perfect?
No.
No.
It's never perfect, you know.
No.
And the only thing that I will say is that if you want to talk like this little segue into politics here, is that I think on both sides of the aisle, I think that there needs to be some better representation. And I feel that there's good representation out there, but you know what? They're out living their lives. They don't want scrutiny. They don't want the job. You know, you look at it this way. So
yeah, going into politics.
Yeah. So
thankless.
Yes. But just think about it, right? You get elected to be, you know, the president of the US, right? That same day, you have literally, you have a whole group of people around the world that all of a sudden don't like you.
Yeah. Immediately.
Because you're the guy in the hot seat or the gal in the hot seat, people just clearly don't like you. There is like a level of, I just could not deal with, you know, of hate coming my way. I just wouldn't want to deal with that.
Look at how Obama, I mean, in 8 years, how he changed physically.
Dude, look at him now. Look at him now.
Yeah.
Man, you see like photos of him now. You're just like, wow, he just looks like you're someone's grandpa, you know? I mean,
he's not that old. He's in his early 60s.
Yeah. Yeah. That took some strips off him. Hey, you know, one of the, like, notably one of the greatest statesmen ever, great at speaking, like whatever side you're on, like you have to give him props. That guy was a stud. He was very eloquent, very diplomatic. But damn, even at that, he seems so calm. And you look at him now, he looks like one of those, like he just looks like a shell of himself. Like he looked fine, but he just looks like he put on 20 years, like someone put on 20 pounds.
And he's dropped. The thing is, he didn't put on weight. It's like he lost weight, and there's a certain level of, not to say that he's frail. He's just not. He doesn't have the muscle on him that he used to. You could see it. Like his clothes don't fit as well as they used to kind of look, you know?
He doesn't look like he's got that vigor that he used to have.
Right. Yeah. Whereas Michelle does.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She ain't stopping.
Yeah.
No, he's got his own challenges with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna be in the back seat for sure. But I mean, yeah, no, it's I don't know.
The political scene is very interesting. And you know, you look at who's, you know, talk about communication. He may not be an eloquent speaker. What he's done very well is he's had people pick sides.
Yeah.
And you know, like the subject of Trump gets people riled up. It gets Canadians at the edge of their seat. What did he do now?
Yeah.
You know, and the idea of the 51st state. I mean, it's like, it's rattling the saber. Truly, it's a distraction, and you couldn't have all of Canada be one state. It would be impossible. So if you really thought about it, which he's not thinking about, like, truly,
it's tongue in cheek.
No way he's saying it to just be him.
Yeah.
And it what does it do? It gets people like me talking about him, which he wants. So that's part of his game. It's just part of his freaking game.
He gets the 7-4-11.
The dude gets the 7 and then some.
Yes,
like
for sure.
Constantly.
I think the question, like, just on that, because it's such a heated question, is I feel that people, like, they hear the name, they get just like, you know what I mean? Like, they're just,
or they love him.
Yeah, like one way or the other, they're extremely divisive. And then, you know, something is said in like the plan. And I feel like the fallacy that people have in their head is that they're not asking, like, what does he want? What is he really? He's saying this because he wants a deal, but what deal does he want? What does he want?
Well, and so this is the thing. He's done extremely well, and he won the election. So you got to call it for what it is. And looking at that 7-11-4 formula that we've bantered a little bit about, and then going back to what is it all about?
Mm-hmm.
Making that line in the sand having an opinion it's actually part of the, like, we'll use him as the example. And there's other people online that are doing it. They have an opinion, and the comments are generally from the haters.
Yeah.
And the DMs, the conversations or the emails are from the people that want to do business with you. So it comes down to this. If you're just going to be, I'm playing both sides, you're never going to be able, like, you're never going to get to where you want to go. So if there's a lesson out of here, if we're going to learn something from Trump, it's this. You're going to need to get some people to dislike. They don't have to necessarily dislike you. They may dislike your opinion or where you draw the line. As a Canadian, I think it's okay to be able to say, I disagree with you. I don't have to hate you for it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. There's this book that I'm looking for. It's called, I read it. It's called The Courage to be Disliked.
Oh, I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
You have to be. And that's part of the divisiveness. What was your, we'll end it with this. What's the biggest takeaway from that book that you would apply to your business now? The courage to be disliked.
I think it just comes from, like, I don't have like one lesson because I can't just curate everything there. And I'm not trying to blow you off, but it's just dude. It's just, it all sums it up in the title. It's like, it's like that courage to just kind of be you and just and stand for you and have that, just kind of have that, you can carry a standard around you like a boundary, you know? And I think that's important. Like when it comes to, like, say you and I were having a conversation and then say we're at a party or something, you don't like Jeff, and no one it's only certain people like Jeff. That's okay. You don't have to like Jeff. And you don't need Jeff to be in your business and he doesn't need to be in yours and vice versa. Like, it's okay. You can agree to disagree and it's fine. Yeah. I think there's power in that.
For me recently, it's this, like, I'll use Craig Ballantyne as an example. Craig's standard is he doesn't swear. He made a choice. That's it. I don't swear anymore. That's what he said. Good for Craig. I swear. And there's times where I swear a lot. Like, dude, and I'm not gonna be bashful about it. Now, there's context.
Yes.
So if I'm going to have a conversation with, it could be both with just the guys, or sometimes it's, like Shauna, my wife, she could drop the F-bomb with the best of us. So it's not a problem. And my intention isn't to offend someone with the language. And that's my line in the sand. I have no problem dropping the F-bomb when it's appropriate, or when I feel or I'm just going to be, it's because sometimes it's visceral. I'm just going to say it and I'm not necessarily thinking it. It's like, I fucking feel like I'm going to drop it right now. And that's it. And I'm not going to apologize for my language because listen, this is who I am. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. It's okay.
I like that approach because, I went to Catholic school. So what you can't do, you want to do more of. So obviously I had the worst mouth out of all of my friends that went to public school. They were just like, oh, what the fuck? What just happened there? Like, why does he talk like that? So it's like that, right? So, and I think,
it's great.
Sometimes I think it's just the emphasis of things.
Yeah.
Like you're excited about it. So, Yeah. And I think we've gotten away from the 1920s enough because that was a different time where, like we have business casual. You don't have to go to work in a 3-piece suit.
Wearing a tie. When was the last time you wore a tie?
Probably like when I first got married.
Right. I mean, it's very rare for me that I went and spoke at a group, Aon Insurance. They're huge. Didn't wear a tie. Yeah. And you know what? I think that there might have been 2 people out of 60 that were. Yeah. I mean, everybody was just casual, man.
Yeah. You, as long as you're polished, well put together. Yeah. Because you don't have a tie on, doesn't disqualify you.
That's it. That's it.
That's all.
So let's go with this, Chris. If people want to get a hold of, this has been a great conversation. And if people want to get to know you and get a hold of you, where would they do that? And then I want you to be able to give me the links. So I'll put them in the show notes. And
well, I post a little bit on Instagram, not much.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. So you can find
your
me there.
YouTube channel.
Yeah. So YouTube is Living in Vancouver with Chris Carr.
Awesome.
Chris Carr .yvr or at Chris Carr.yvr. You'll find me on Instagram. And that's pretty much that's it for now. I'm not on TikTok on any type of anything.
You don't need to be. Neither am I. I might have been, but I haven't. Like, no.
Yeah.
I don't waste my time with it. It's not where my audience is. Although people are going to tell me that maybe I should be, but yeah.
Well,
doesn't matter.
When you get staff, then they'll put you everywhere. How about that?
Right.
Then you'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a VA team. I just choose not to go there. So I mean, like, we're on. I am on Instagram, Facebook with 2 different accounts, LinkedIn. I do have an X account that I very rarely use, and then YouTube channel, which YouTube's the next thing that I want to build up big time. Yeah.
Good. Well, we'll both watch each other's journeys.
You absolutely, Chris. It's been a pleasure to have you here on the How to Be an Army of One in Sales podcast.
Awesome. Okay, I appreciate your time. I'll see you on
no
Friday.
problem, Chris.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll see you on Friday.
Awesome.
Hey, buddy.
Have a good day.
See you in the dojo. Yeah, you too. Bye.